taking a comparative world religions class at my school right now. And we kind of had a debate early on just about, do we think God is real? Do we think he's not? And one of the atheist students had, kind of touched on the idea of kind of that morals point to God existing. That was what I said. And then they said something like, well, yeah, morals are intrinsic and they exist, but they exist because it's like an evolutionary thing. So like the fact that we know murder to be wrong comes from our natural inner drive to keep our species alive, or the fact that we know rape is wrong, that comes from like a natural inner drive for peace amongst...
Whoa. If survival of the fittest, why wouldn't we rape to survive?
I don't know, but...
Yeah, well, the problem is that if evolution has given us these moral so-called precepts, they're not really precepts, they're illusions, right? We just think it's wrong to rape, but it's not really wrong to rape because there is no standard beyond us. And by the way, a biological process has no authority to tell you what to do, right? True. That's all evolution is, it's biology.
He had kind of compared it to cancer, though, because, I mean, cancer doesn't necessarily think about what it's doing. It just kind of, it wants to grow, it wants to get bigger. And he said, humans are kind of like that. What would you say to him?
Because...
That sounds so awful. I'm so sorry. But just, I'm interested.
Cancer is not conscious. It's not wanting to do anything. Okay? He's personifying runaway cell growth.
I know. He's very poetic, isn't he?
Okay. What's that?
He's very poetic, isn't he?
Yes. So and another thing he's doing here, he's engaging in a fallacy called nothing buttery. This is a fallacy where you say, this is nothing but. To say that our morals are just an evolutionary deception, he's assuming he's above all that and can see, oh, this is just a deception. He has more than knowledge in order to say that our morals are nothing but an evolutionary deception. Where's he getting that more than knowledge from? He's putting himself in some sort of supreme position from YouTube. Yeah, maybe that's where he's getting it from. No. If God does not exist, nothing's ultimately right or wrong. And by the way, if evolution gives us all our morals, then evolution also gives us all our thoughts, including the thought that evolution's true. So why believe evolution's true?
That's very true.
Thank you.
There are many reasons to believe that we should do good to other people. And the idea that there has to be a standard beyond us is definitely not one of them. You see, if we go and listen to what other religions say, you might get a better or different idea of why there is good and bad. Now, if we look at one of the largest religions of the world with over 500 million members, Buddhism, you have a different idea of why we should do good to others. Now, Buddhism has a lot of different doctrines. They have the 4 measurable minds, the 3 Dharma seals, the 6 paramitas, but one of them is the 5 precepts. And that's where the morality comes from. They say you shouldn't kill, don't steal, don't lie, no sexual misconduct, and also no intoxicants. And so you ask, why should we do good to people? Well, unlike Christianity, Buddhists don't believe there is a separate self, that you just exist independent of the world. Rather, they believe that everything that you have is dependent upon the world. They believe that in some way, shape, or form, we are all interconnected, right? Everything that you have comes from others, right? Your language, your money, your health, your house, because I don't know how to build a house. I don't have enough money to open my own gym. So the reason I'm able to go to the gym, which I love, is because other people sign up and someone decided to open a gym. And because of them, I'm able to exercise. So everything that I have comes from other. So why should we do good? Because of gratitude. We are grateful that everything that I have is because others decided to play a role in this society. And because of that, I'm going to do good to them. I'm not going to steal from them because everything that I have comes from them. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to sexually abuse them. I'm not going to intoxicate myself and potentially do harm to someone, right? Because I want to be part of the world. Because they're the reason that I'm happy, and so I also want to be the reason why they're happy. And we can view Buddhism as a atheist religion because they don't believe in God, but they still have their own moral standard. And there's another reason. Science. Science has discovered specialized cells in your brain called mirror neurons, and this is how they work.
One recent discovery that has been made by researchers in Italy, in Parma, by Giacomo Rizzolatti and his colleagues, is a group of neurons called mirror neurons, which are in the front of the brain in the frontal lobes. Rizzolatti found was a subset of these neurons, maybe about 20% of them, will also fire when I'm looking at somebody else performing the same action. So here's a neuron that fires when I reach and grab something, but it also fires when I watch Joe reaching and grabbing something. And this is truly astonishing because it's as though this neuron is adopting the other person's point of view. It's almost as though it's performing a virtual reality simulation of the other person's action. Now, what is the significance of these mirror neurons? For one thing, they must be involved in things like imitation and emulation, because to imitate a complex act requires my brain to adopt the other person's point of view. So here again you have neurons which are involved in empathy. You simply anesthetize my arm. So you put an injection into my arm, anesthetize the brachial plexus, so the arm is numb, there's no sensations coming in. If I now watch you being touched, I literally feel it in my hand. In other words, you've dissolved the barrier between you and other human beings. So I call them Gandhi neurons or empathy neurons. And this is not in some abstract metaphorical sense. All that's separating you from him, from the other person, is your skin. Remove the skin, you experience that person's touch in your mind. You have dissolved the barrier between you and other human beings. And this, of course, is the basis of much of Eastern philosophy, and that is there's no real independent self aloof from other human beings, inspecting the world and inspecting other people. You are in fact connected, not just via Facebook and internet. You're actually quite literally connected by your neurons, and there's whole chains of neurons around this room talking to each other, and there is no real distinctiveness of your consciousness from somebody else's consciousness.
So obviously we are wired to feel empathy for others. Our biology allows us to feel empathy regardless if we believe there is a God or not.